Bend the knee. Valor Mogolis, everybody. It's Don Willie back again with another edition of Ice and Fire Opinions. And, on Friday show. So today I am keeping it in the Baratheon family. Last week I talked about Gendry, and today I'm talking about his uncle that he never knew, who probably didn't know he existed, and probably wouldn't have cared anyway. The king in High Garden himself, Renly Baratheon. And of course, as always, shout out to the chat. We got Ion Trone and Marilyn Bentley in here so far. Oh man, oh man. And also Jacob. Man, Jacob, I stay screwing up your last name. I'm gonna call you Jacob because I'm horrible with names. And Maria Lind, what's going on? Oh man, oh man. And as you can see here, I did say I was going to be wearing a Yankee fitted today. This is a special edition from New Era. You already know how I do. Oh man, oh man. Shout out to when Debo breaks down the door. Baratheon. Wow. Wow. Oh man, you idiots trying to get me in trouble early. Damn, son. Damn. It's all good though. So let's talk about Renly. So Renly is one of a multitude of characters who was fighting for the throne. We got introduced to him in book 1 and also season 1 of Game of Thrones, and he was pretty much a background character. Now, because he did not have POV chapters in the book, they decided to flesh him out in the show and give him extra scenes. So Jacob Baruch? Okay, Baruch. Alright. Jacob Baruch. Gotcha. Um so uh with this we did get we did get a few things about his personality that don't really show up much in, but let's go into book Renly first. So, he approaches Ned Stark about the line of succession when Robert is on his deathbed. Talks about, hey, you should support me to be king, and we'll take care of the kids and all that, and don't let Stannis become king. And in the show, and in fact, no, I'm gonna talk about the show one in a little bit. Um, the Willing Grace reboot, Renly and Marjorie. Oh my god! Shout out to Leslie Powell. Um, so he in the book when we run into him with that whole thing, it seems a little not necessarily jarring, but it is kind of out of place because since we didn't get anything with him, off screen. Since we didn't get his dealings off screen, we didn't get to see his background scheming. And also shout out to Ricky Hunt, Hell Hydra. Um, so this is one of those things where you have a character who his motivations were not clear. It just kind of was like, all right, well, they know Robert's about to die. Joffrey's secret is kind of exposed, at least amongst the lords, royalty and all that. And then in comes Renly, even though at this point Ned is like, hey, Stannis is the rightful king, I need to make sure that he sits on the Iron Throne because it's the right thing to do. Renly is like, nope, not happening. And a lot of other people really don't want Stannis to sit on the throne. And to a certain extent, even Littlefinger is kind of like, well, look, Renly may not be the best guy, but he's good for business, at least. So it's like, hey, if you don't want to, you know, hem up Joffrey and still be handed the king in that regard, maybe throw your weight behind Renly if you want. It's not mandatory or anything, but some for you to think about. A shout out to Jayon Calrissian and Big E in the building. So when we next see Renly, because after Robert dies, Official and Ned hasn't snatched up Joffrey and Cersei. Him, Loras, all the Tyrell Bannermen, some of his own household guard, they're like, yo, deuces, we out. They head back to Storm's End, and it's like, all right, well, what's going to happen now? So after the death of Ned Stark, you got everybody declaring themselves as kings, and Renly is no exception. Renly is supported at this time by the Baratheons, who are still in control and basically the Stormland. Because I mean, it's funny. There seems to be almost no extended family for a lot of these High Lords. Like, there's no Cadet Baratheon branch at this point. You don't hear about any cousins with the last name Baratheon. It's literally at this point Stannis, Renly, and that's it. There are no other like true Baratheon around. Shout out to DJ. What's going on, man? Um, so it's kind of funny that you have two brothers who are now trying to fight for their older brother's throne. One person who has no actual claim, but he made a good point, about what right did Aegon Targaryen have to claim the Seven Kingdoms, and really, what right does any particular person have to a claim on something else that where other people live? You know, got the whole deal with the right of conquest, and really thought he could possibly be a conqueror. The only problem is he was not a warrior in any regard. He was not a strategist. He was not a fighter. He was not a military man. And Maester Crescent, when he's thinking about Stannis and Renly and the whole relationship that the Baratheon brothers had, he thinks about how Renly was the dude in the fine robes, and he always liked being fashionable and throwing parties and all that stuff. You know, and he would kind of play at being a knight, but he wasn't ever serious about it. And he happens to have a very skilled knight who was a part of his King's Guard, which he calls the Rainbow Guard. And it's funny because even though George was writing these books in the early and mid 90s, at the time, a lot of people hadn't really figured out that Renly was a gay character, because in the books it's not really played up. It's a very subtle thing that you have to kind of read into, and think like, okay, well, are they trying to insinuate that this is what Renly is about? And for those of you who might have been, I guess, culturally aware, and he's like, right now we know rainbow. We see a rainbow flag that's supposed to represent, LGBTQ and whatever, however many other letters. He won't add letters every day. I'm lost, but that's supposed to represent, you know, uh, gay people or alternative lifestyles or whatever you may want to call it, right? But in the mid '90s, it was actually represented by, like, I think it was like a pink upside down triangle. So it seems like either George R. R. Martin is thinking, or had a crystal ball or something and saw that was going to become something, or it is a coincidence. It is, just the greatest coincidence of all time that Renly had Rainbow Guard. All the knights wear different colors of the rainbow, and have the gay flag that also happens to be a rainbow. So interesting, very interesting. But Renly is somebody who was known to be very personable, and that's how he was able to win a lot of people to his side. A lot of people from the Stormlands and also the Reach, who by rights should have been supporting Stannis, did not, because, listen, let's be honest, Stannis was kind of a dick. And it's like, hey, if I'm going to be subject to someone's whims, is it going to be the guy who, you know, who's just kind of like, I am the law, who's kind of going to be like Judge Dredd about it, like, oh, this is the law, this is what I say, this is how it goes, done? Or the guy who you might be able to negotiate with? Renly was somebody who seemed like he wanted to get along with people, and his whole thing was kind of, he wanted to be comfortable, not hedonistic. It was just like, hey, look, I want to make things, cool. I want people to feel chill. You know, so that was his major thing, and that's how he was able to rally so many troops to his cause. And it's kind of funny because Renly had not necessarily a huge lasting impression on the books, or the story overall, but there are ripple effects to the things that he was doing, right? So had it not been for him taking storms and deciding, all right, I'm hold on to this, and then I'm gonna go and commit war on the capital. Um, it's more than likely that the War of the Five Kings would have turned out in a very different fashion, especially, him not acquiescing to his brother, because that was a major thing where it was like, all right, well, when they had their parlay, Stannis was, firm, like, dude, no. I don't care if I have less men, your older brother, and I'm supposed to be king. And Renly's kind of like, nah, man, understand something, man. You got like, what, 10,000 men at most? I got like 50,000. You're a wrap. It's over for you. All right, man. And it's funny because, Renly kind of went out of his way to taunt the shit out of Stannis. you know, he's like, look, dude, all right, You don't have any kids, like you don't have any sons or whatever. I don't have any sons right now, even though sooner or later I'm going to have some children with Marjorie. Look, for the time being, I will name you my heir. And if you want Storm's End, since I know it hurts you so bad that the Bobby didn't give you Storm's End, you can have Storm's End. I'm your brother. I want to give you a gift. And that gift is going to Storm's End. Stannis like, yo, what? What the hell nah? What do you mean you gonna give me Storm's End? Storm's End should have been mine anyway. Should have been mine. It was like, oh, see, look at this. Look at this. You know, I'm trying to negotiate with the dude. I'm trying to be nice with him. And here he comes, so, huffing and puffing, trying to blow my castle down. You already know you can't blow Storm's End down, right? You know that can't happen, right? And it's just hilarious, the whole thing, the back and forth with him, and he pulls out the peach, and him saying to Stannis like, "Oh, you know what? You really need to taste one because you never know you'll ever get to taste one." And obviously, obviously that's a veiled threat. Oh, and it's absolutely hilarious that here you have someone who is clearly not equipped for war, threatening someone who is said to be one of the best battle commanders in all of Westeros. Oh my god. Oh, shout out to King McKay. Um, so, you know, um, man, it's kind of funny because all of that stuff happens from Catelyn's vantage point in the books, and she's thinking to herself about uh how these two really shouldn't be fighting, how they need to um stand together against the Lannisters, and neither one of them is trying to hear it. And I can say for good reasons on both ends. But it's just hilarious how it all plays out. And also because of the situation with Renly, we get the introduction to Brienne of Tarth. Brienne of Tarth, who bested a bunch of people to become part of the Rainbow Guard. And Brienne's story is funny as hell. And one, I don't think I've done one of these on Brienne, so one day I do have to do one of these for Brienne as well. Um, and it's funny because here again you have another situation. And shout out to Alejandra 777555. But yeah, here you have another situation where, like I say, Renly being a very personable person, very charismatic, very open with people. Brienne had been taunted by lots of men and probably women as well throughout her life because of her looks. And Renly, he threw this ball, um, or it was either Renly threw the ball or her father threw the ball, and while all the guys there were treating her badly, Renly went out of his way to make sure that he danced with her, center of the room, everyone could see. And because of that, him showing her that kindness that other people had not shown her, and making it a very public thing, making it like, hey, look, you know what? Just because this woman may not be the most beautiful woman, according to you, it doesn't mean that you treat her as less than. and that endeared her to him for the long haul. She was willing to sacrifice her life in order to protect him, and she thought he was the right person for the job of being king. Shout out to way off topic radio. Almost got tongue tied there. Oh, shout out to Julia West. So, it's one of those things again where you can see kind of the reverberations that have happened, because even after Renly died, and we're going to talk about Renly's death, because Renly's death needs to be discussed. Brienne is still kind of, you know, carrying the torch for him. Loras is still kind of carrying the torch for him. Courtney Penrose, was still kind of carrying the torch for him. And there are just these little reminders that even though Renly shouldn't have been king, by the law, people were still like, oh, you know what? He was still a good guy, though. It didn't matter to them that he wasn't, the rightful uh person according to the law. They were like, no, but he's a good guy. And if you're gonna have someone who's going to be a leader, then it needs to be someone who's good with people. And Renly was good with people. So, after he has his failed parlay with Stannis, uh we get the death of Renly in a very uh suspicious manner. Like the way it's described in the books, you know, it's just before dawn. Uh the whole camp is forming up. They're forming the battle lines, they're getting ready to go out and face Stannis. And Renly is like, oh man, I didn't really want to do it. This is I'm not really gonna go out and and obviously kill my brother, but I'm hoping that when my brother dies, they don't do anything crazy to his body. I've ordered them not to desecrate his body or anything. And he's sitting there talking to Catelyn. He's being dressed by Brienne. She's helping him put on his armor and all that. And he just like, I'm trying to remember exactly how it happened. So you have like the candles flicker, and uh Catelyn talks about how she sees the shadow. She sees Renly. She sees Renly's shadow move, and she's like, "That's weird. How does the shadow have a sword in his hand?" And then the next thing you know, she's like, Renly just says that he feels cold. Then she sees the shadow sword sticking through his chest, and then he's just out of here. And I mean, easy come, easy go, unfortunately, when it comes to that whole thing. And then after this, one of the Tyrell brothers dresses up as Renly at the Battle of Blackwater, and people are thinking because of this that either Renly is alive or it was Renly's ghost that showed up to help beat Stannis as revenge. Which, uh, man, that's crazy to think. I mean, but you got to think about it. This is supposed to be uh medieval times, whatever, not having mass communication, not having technology. Yeah, someone shows up in another man's arm and is supposed to be dead, and is fighting a battle. Yeah, nobody's gonna be thinking, oh, it's somebody else that just put on this guy's armor. Like, oh, either he's not dead or it's his ghost. Oh, shout out to when Diva breaks down the door. Damn, I'm gonna have all the crazy questions. Um, yeah. So let's talk about Show Renly. Show Renly. Like I said, they fleshed out his character or gave him some. So unlike Book Renly, they went out of their way to show that Show Renly was gay, and not in a flamboyant, kind of feminine way, but it was more so just okay, him kissing uh Loris, and yeah, I'll be honest with you, a little uncomfortable with those scenes. I'm just like, oh, okay, all right, this is what we doing, huh? All right. I'm just glad we didn't have to find out which one was top and which one was bottom. That would have been a little much for me. Um, but yeah, in the books again, we don't get that at all, and in the show, it's like, all right, let's put right on Front Street for you. We want you to know that these two guys are gay. Um, and and Alejandra 77755. Correct. He was really shallow in the show. He was kind of a vapid character. And it's funny because like when he goes to Ned talking about that he should be king, you kind of see on his face like he was nervous about uttering the words, and also he was nervous because it was like, all right, what is Ned's reaction gonna be? And also it was like, all right, well, do I really deserve this? Um, so that was like the actor who played Renly, I think did a great job of portraying uh I guess the nervousness that would come with, but also the arrogance of thinking that, oh, hey, I got a powerful family backing me, I should be king. And again, the scenes with him and Loris, the kind of intimate scenes where it's them two uh talking about how things need to be or whatever, or how he could be king. Uh, those were interesting, and it kind of gave me a better insight as to how it was he came to that decision in the first place. Because look, let's be honest, the Stormlands are not some great wealthy kingdom, and yeah, he was the king's brother, so he was rich because of that, and lord and everything, but he didn't have a crazy army. He was not a battle tested warrior. So it's like, well, what reason would anybody have to follow him? But if you have Loras Tyrell, who at the time is one of the greatest knights in all the realm, and you got the whole Tyrell family backing him, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, cool. Now it was crazy with him and Marjorie though. Him and Marjorie, and the one thing I forgot to mention was like how he was trying to get Robert to basically divorce Cersei and marry Marjorie. Now, why exactly he was trying to get her, trying to get Robert to marry Marjorie? I don't think that's ever explained, but I mean, I guess it would make sense. Uh, but again, I don't think he was thinking about the Tywin Lannister aspect of it. I don't think you're just going to be like, yeah, all right, look, Tywin is the guy who helped you get the throne. Now, kick his daughter to the curb and tell him that his grandchildren are illegitimate and everything would be cool. Um, oh man, Ricky Hunt said, Renly and Loras are the best couple. Period. I mean, you know, are they? Uh, anyway, but we get to see the back channel dealings and scheming with those two, but when it came to Marjorie and Renly and her being in the tent with him and trying to, undress him, and again, more reverberations, and I'm gonna get to the whole Marjorie thing later because Marjorie really threw him under the bus. But it was one of those things that kind of killed me when she's like, "Oh, if you need help, I can get my brother in here." I was like, "Oh, wow, yeah, wow, really?" Like, damn, and he was still trying to play it off, and she was like, "Look, you know, yeah, you can keep your secrets for out there. Keep your secrets for out there for the people who need to see me and you as this strong power couple and everything. But it's all good. Look, just whatever we got to do to make sure that there's an heir to this dynasty or whatever, we'll do that, and we don't need to have all the extras. You know? So, I mean, and it kind of seemed like to me as though she was trying to make it where it's like, look, I'm still gonna need to get me some. You let me have and I'm not sure what the male equivalent of a mistress is. Someone can put that in the chat for me. Um, yeah, someone can put that in the chat, like what the male equivalent of a mistress is. Um, like, look, you can sleep with Loras as long as you want, but you know, I'm gonna do my thing, and then um when we need to have a coupling for the realm, and put a good face on it, we'll do that. So Marjorie was shown as a great schemer, in the show. Absolutely phenomenal uh job of just not only the interplay with her and other people, but obviously great job by Natalie Dormer. Uh, so yeah, that was one of those things where oh, okay, so Big E says chulo. I mean, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Julia West says menstress. Oh my god. Uh, let's see. Oh, shout out to Anthony Vasquez. What's going on, man? Let's see here. We off topic. Radio says male ho is a lucky man. Ricky Hunt's a side dick. I mean, maybe, I guess. I mean, you know, that's what Marjorie was looking for. But it's kind of funny after the death of Renly when Peter Baelish is there. Um, and he's like, do you want to be a queen? And she's like, no, I want to be the queen. I mean, and it's funny though because even though, like, yeah, there were certain times where after Renly was dead, she was like, I can't sit here like my brother and be all pouty about it. She commenced to throwing him under the bus early. Like, yo, he's dead. I want to be queen. Um, but before that, before Stannis wound up killing him with the Shadow Baby or whatever, um, Peter Baelish was really like, and they really made him kind of a fool in certain situations. So like he is sitting there really trying to poke and prod and put all the insinuations out there. Like he was really like, hey, okay, you guys are out here doing all this extra crazy weird shit right now. I already know about Loras and your brother. How do you really fit into this equation? And she was like, look, my king is my husband and my husband is my king. I was like, listen, first off, that is the most down statement that I've ever heard of my life. And any woman who would ever say that to, just about you, you need to hurry up and marry her. You know what I'm saying? Don't cheat on her. Be faithful. You know, because that is just the most down statement ever. My king is my husband. My husband is my king. That woman needs to be married ASAP. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of funny that, listen, after he was gone, he was like, I gotta be on to the next. And it's funny because, again, this is how even there was still a lasting effect of Renly after he was gone, because Joffrey, uh him being who he was, they had scenes with him and Marjorie where he's kind of threatening her, and he's like, oh, you were married to a traitor, this, that, and the third. And she was kind of trying to make it seem as if, like, look, I didn't really want to be married to him. It was a political thing. And, really, he was gay. Like she really kind of, he said she threw him under the bus. She was like, oh, well, yeah, we didn't really spend too many nights together. And on the nights when we did, he wanted to do stuff that, couldn't possibly uh conceive a baby. I was like, oh wow. Oh, she just went there with it. Okay. Like, wow, she really, really went there with it. That was kind of messed. A shout out to Jake Cruz. Um, yeah, man. I was sitting up there like, wow, she really just threw him all the way under that one. And it's funny though, like, so about the Renly's ghost thing. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that in the Battle of the Blackwater, when the Tyrell troops are approaching, that there is someone who is wearing Renly's armor in the show. I could be wrong, but I do believe someone pointed that out to me. Um, so very interesting, obviously. I'm trying to think what else. There's a couple other things I wanted to say about Renly. It's funny because when I went to look for a picture that he used for the thumbnail, I typed in Renly, and then it was like meaning of his name. Yeah, there is no meaning to his name. Something that George made up. Because that kind of intrigued me. I was like, all right, after I find the picture, I'm gonna go look to see like what is the meaning of Renly's name. I was like, oh, there's no meaning. But apparently, there've been a lot of people who've been naming their kids Renly. Uh, I mean, it's a crazy. Yo, listen, George has come up with some very endearing names that most people probably would not have thought of ever. Renly, Stannis, Eddard, Daenerys, Aegon. Like, I don't have any kids yet, but who knows? Listen, I had a best friend named Peter. Totally spelled the normal way. If I ever have a kid and I decide to name one of them Peter, who knows? Maybe, maybe I might spell it like this. That would be weird as all hell, though, wouldn't it? I could imagine. Yo, you know what? I could imagine enrolling the kid in school, enrolling the kid in school, and him constantly having to correct people on the pronunciation of his name. Because for the people who have listened to the audio books, a Song of Ice and Fire audio books, Roy the Trees. Roy the Trees. Oh man, God rest the dead. Roy the Trees. Patire. Patire Baelish. Oh god. Patire Baelish. Oh man. Oh. Oh my god. Hilarious. Hilarious. Alright, man. But yeah, Renly again, while he himself may not have done anything specific that was of great note, the characters that he touched, both literally and figuratively, have left a lasting impression the on the story. And it's just funny because, even after he died, you still got his name mentioned a few times. So yeah, shout out to Renly Baratheon. First and only of his name. Uh Though he wanted to be king of the Andals, Roydon the first man didn't really get to go down like that. Oh man. So all right. Let's get to the questions. Pay a little more attention to the chat room. Chat peoples. That was a they're looking for these damn symbols and can never ever find them. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Boom, there we go. Wait, they know. Start asking questions. Because that's what people want. Oh man, what's crazy? Um, Back to the Loras thing since we were talking about Loras. Yeah, Loras in the show versus the totally different. I mean, it's a funny thing because Loras in the show, if you go back and look at the Purple Wedding, there is actually a glance between him and Oberyn Martell. Now, they made Loras a straight up horn dog in the show. He was just like, yo, you know, anything out here moving, he was trying to bang. Oh, you know what? There was something that I remember that was absolutely hilarious. I mean, yes, it's a messed up joke, but it was hilarious. I think it was Lannister guards talking about Loras and Renly. It was like one of them says like, um, Loras couldn't have been can't be. He said Loras can't be that good of a fighter. He's been stabbing Renly for years, and he never died. I'm like, oh, ah, oh my god! Like, listen, whatever you might want to think, that's a funny joke. That is a funny joke, man. He's like he's been stabbing Renly for years, and Renly Renly still dead. Some shit like that. I was like, damn. Oh man. Okay, so all right. Who is my least favorite character? And that's from Alejandra 77755. Least favorite character. Um, Probably Melisandre because not only do I know the least about her, um, her motivation seemed extra faulty. I'm still wondering how the hell did she think that Stannis is Azor Ahai? Like, how the hell did she come out? But yeah, Melisandre, out of here. Boom. Stannis would have made a terrible king. It, like, what was wrong with Stannis? Look, man, Stannis is way too much of an authoritarian. Oh, he is the guy that he's the guy that like I'm gonna say it like this: like if Stannis was a cop, he would be the dude handing out the most tickets and arresting the people the most for like any minor infraction kind of thing. You went 36 miles an hour and a 35-mile an hour, that kind of shit. You know, you tried to throw something in the trash. The wind blew it away before it actually got in the trash can, and you didn't run to go back and put it in the trash can. Stannis is the dude writing you, and that's why people don't like Stan. Let's see. Ricky Hunt says Loras never even attempts to move on after and joins the King's Guard afterward. So where does he? Uh, hmm, he doesn't. Hmm, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, wow. You know what? I never even realized that he never grieved in the show. Well, we already know who to think for that one. I don't need to iterate who to think about. Decisions like. All right, next up from Angel Reed. Did Renly die super fast in books too, or was it rushed on TV? Also, is he really gay in the book? All right, so yeah, Renly died in same fashion. They didn't really change anything about his death. Oh, you know what? No. The thing that they did change about his death in the show was that he actually said that he was cold. Like standing there, he's talking to Catelyn. Catelyn sees the shadow with the sword. Uh, Sword stabs Renly, and then he kind of like cold, something like that, and then collapses. Um, and in the books, in the books it's implied, but it's not a thing that people really speak on. It's a thing where like because it's mainly in like Catelyn's chapters. where like Catelyn is hanging out with them, and like so there's an instance where like there's a dinner, and there's a dinner. Marjorie's sitting on Renly's left or his right, and Loras is on the other side. And Catelyn notices, like, yeah, the queen, his queen is there, but he spends a lot of time hanging out with Loras. Or they'll just talk about how Renly always like flashy things. It's not a thing of somebody caught Renly kissing the guy or caught him and Loras doing anything. Really like, Renly was more into fashion than he was into war, kind of. About the only clues that you get is, he hangs around Loras a lot. He's married to Marjorie, but you never see him with Marjorie. You always see him with Loras. And that's pretty much about it. What you get in terms of. All right, for way up topic radio, favorite Baratheon, including Gendry. Um, favorite Baratheon. Hmm, that's a good question. I'll be honest with you, the Baratheons are not a very likable group of people. Um, if we're going show, I'd probably have to say Shireen. She was a very kind person, and oh man, that burning scene. Obviously, we don't get to see her burn. Oh my god, that was yeah. That whole scene was just that shit was horrible. For the books, no favorite Baratheon. I mean, no, you know what? Fine, I'll say Gendry. Just thinking on the few people in that family that we have. I mean, I'd probably have to say, yeah, Renly. I mean, not Renly. Ricky. I mean, Ricky. Yeah, Stannis lost me that first time too with the whole thing with Maester Crescent. I was like, damn, that's kind of messed up. Here you have Maester Crescent thinking about how much he felt like Stannis was like a son to him, and how, even though he was the Storm's End Maester, he, went to Dragonstone with Stannis, and been the dude that's been watching over him all this time. So, um, yeah, it was kind of messed up the way Stannis was acting that whole chapter. And I'm, yo, man, like, why did, like, I remember, because I watched the show first, before I got into the books. And so I started getting into the books like in between season 3. And when I got to the first chapter of book 2, the epilogue, I'm like, yo, why do people like this guy? Like, yo, this dude is a dick. Why would anybody like Stannis? Shout out to Thrones Wall. What's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. But yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't understand like the obsession with Stannis. Yeah, Maryland, George with all that damn food talk, man. Yo, he was wild, and I understand George trying to do world building. Damn it, there doesn't need to be like 3 pages worth of just describing what the hell they were eating. Like, really, did we really need all this pheasants and roasted garlic and sautéed onion in the you know, the butternut squash puree and all this other crazy. You know, he's describing like 30-course meals and all that. I'm like, yo, dude, seriously, man. Can we get to the action? Like, is there something about this food that is there something about the food that is going to help further the narrative? Because if not, you're just doing too much right now. Oh man. All right. Next up from Ricky Hunt. Do you think Renly would have been a good king? Honestly speaking, if you want to talk about it in terms of politicking with the people, yeah. If you want to talk about in terms of policy for the realm, no, fuck no. Renly would have been horrible. Renly would have been too busy trying to Renly would have been too busy trying to be popular and probably would have wound up um you know bankrupting the realm even further because remember they were already 6 million gold in debt, right? I think like 3 million to the Lannisters and 3 million 3 million to the Iron Bank. Yo, nah, man. Renly would have bankrupted the shit out of the realm, and we would have had King. Who probably would have wound up being? Probably the Ironborn would have. The Ironborn probably would have wound up taking over all of Westeros super quickly, because none of the soldiers would have wound up fighting because like, yo, we're not getting paid for nobody. So yeah, nah. He would have been a horrible king. Oh, shout out to Terry T. But she was up in here lurking. Talking about now you hungry, huh? Okay. Let's see here. Trying to look for questions. All right. From Ion Trone, who's smarter, Rick Barnes or Sir Giles Rosby? Uh, who the hell is Rick Barnes? I'm lost. Who's Rick Barnes? That doesn't sound like a character I know. So I unless I'm just totally lapsing. I could be. Been a long week. Let's see. Yeah, Marilyn Bentley, you're right. Everything is covered in butter, cheese, mushrooms, and onion. You know. Oh, what up, Big Kev? 619 SD. Wow. Yeah, where the hell you been at, man? It's been forever. All right, let's see. From Angel Reed, do you think Renly's plan for Ned Stark would have worked? He wanted to attack the crown, but Ned said no. Um, if he could have caught him by surprise, you know, if he could have caught him by surprise, but Ned being the guy who he is, um, it's like, oh no, we can't do that because it wouldn't be the right thing to do, man. Not not honorable, man. Just, you know, uh, yeah. So it's funny because Ned Ned wasn't as rigid as Stannis. No, no. Ned was as rigid as Stannis. He just wasn't as much of a dick as Stannis. So yeah, it's one of those things where had Ned done a little more, just had he put some forethought into it, and it's like, look, I don't know why you would think that the Lannisters would have any uh um why they would place any value on being honorable. You have Cersei, who has it, like, I don't know if she admitted to Ned about pushing Bran out the window, but the dagger, like, the whole thing is, like, it's pretty much established that the Lannisters tried to kill Bran. Cersei has admitted that the kids who are running around the Red Keep thinking that they are Roberts are not Roberts. So Cersei has been spending years lying, scheming, and also trying to kill. So I don't understand what would make him think that I don't understand what would make him think that, oh no, all I gotta do is show up with this royal decree and everything is all good. Especially when when Ned wakes up, they're talking about, oh yeah, King Joffrey. So yeah, man. I don't know, man. Ned Ned has problems. Ned has serious problems. Oh, Rick Barnes is a basketball coach from Tennessee. I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you. I haven't kept up with college basketball. Sorry about that. I have to read up on Rick Barnes, like, what it is. Giles Rosby, Mister coughing up blood all the damn time, man. That dude. but but we owe them. Oh my god. We owe the Iron Bank. We owe them so much money. Like, all right, man. All right, chill, bro. Get out of here with all that coughing shit. Killing me right now. All right, Angel. I don't know. No, not Angel. Anthony Vasquez. Anthony Vasquez asks, who should have been Robert's true heir? I mean, if you're talking about by the book, then it should have been Stan. But, by the book means nothing because the rules can be changed. Robert could have named anybody he wanted his. But if you're talking about, okay, in the absence of Robert saying, I name this person as my heir, Stannis. But Stannis would have been a shit king. All right, next up for Ricky Hunt. Do you think the fandom is unfair to Renly because so many people are fans of Stannis? People forget that Renly didn't believe Joffrey was not Roberts. He sees Stannis as usurper. Um, hmm. You know what? I mean, look, here's the thing, right? Yeah, Renly may not have been 100% with the whole thing about Joffrey. He may not have 100% known or believed it. But when he heard the rumors, he was invested enough in the rumor mill to say, I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring. So, look, at the end of the day, Rob said it best. Bran can't be Lord of Winterfell before me. Renly can't be king before Stan. Um, so I don't know that it's the fans being unfair. I mean, if there are established rules in society, then it yeah, it can't really. Yeah, I can't say that they treated him, that they're unfair to his character, because they have established rules that people have been following. And remember, even the whole war against the Targaryens originally, Robert's rebellion, that was because Aerys Targaryen broke the rule. Because Aerys Targaryen and um Rhaegar broke the rules. That was that whole thing. No. All right. So follow up to that is like, doesn't that mean Stannis couldn't be king before Jack? I mean, again, as far as what Loris, I mean, not Loris, as far as what Renly actually believed, we don't 100% know if he really believed that those were not Robert's kids, right? But he was still willing to accept that there might be a possibility, at least enough for him to say, okay, I can throw my hat into the ring in terms of claiming myself as a king, um because hey, why not, right? um and yeah, he was sound with his logic in terms of, well, if the realm believes that Joffrey is Robert's legitimate son and Stannis is rebelling against it, yeah, then fine. Because again, he's thinking about uh the the larger picture of the whole thing. He's thinking about how are the people who are not close to this situation see this right now. You know, uh Ned has already given a public declaration that Joffrey is the rightful king, right? Before he was executed, then they made him say, "Oh, I tried to steal the throne." Now you have who Stannis, I think, declared before Renly did. I believe he declared for the throne before Renly. So at that point, it's kind of all bets are off. Like, okay, Stannis is doing this, and he sent out letters to all the High Lords stating that Joffrey is illegitimate. Cool, but hey, he doesn't have the reach in the Stormland. I have the reach in the Stormlands, so at least I have a fighting chance. Stannis, if you think about it, without having the reach in the Stormlands, really didn't have a fighting chance of winning against the Crown because the Crown got the Lannisters. The Lannisters control a pretty large army, but at least with Renly, like, all right, cool. I have the Storm Lords, I have the Reach Lords, and we both border the Crown Land. So it's just one of those things where they would be able to field an army to they would be able to field an army to the Crown Lands probably a lot quicker than Tywin would. Tywin had to come all the way from the West Coast, while the Stormlands is literally right above the Crown Lands, like right on the other side of Blackwater Bay. And the Reach is also right there, and High Garden I don't think is too far south. So he was like, I think he was just he was playing the odds, you know. And had Stannis not used the Shadow Baby thing, Renly probably would have been king. Let's call it what it is. Um, Tywin was out fighting and losing to Robb Stark at the time. Um, Stannis probably would have been overtaken. You would have had the Stormlands and the Reach against the Lannisters who were left in the capital. Um, it stated that Renly might have still had supporters inside the capital. So if he could have got the gates open, it would have been another sack of King's Landing. It would have taken over. Uh, Obviously they're not letting the Lannisters in. They might have tried to rally the North to them. And once you have the North in the rear, and then you got to think they would have had the North. They probably would have had the Riverlands. So yeah, at that point, I'm just thinking that had it not been for what Stannis did, Renly would have been king because he just would have had the numbers on his side. All right, let's see here. What is Ricky saying now? Let's see. Would Robb have taken Renly's offer that Robb would rule the North and be king in the North, but show fealty to him? Renly was going to kill off the Lannisters and giving Cat her daughters. Um, I mean, it's funny because like before I started watching Vikings, I didn't even know that was actually a situation that could happen. So apparently, yes, you can call yourself king, or like there was a time where you had people who called themselves kings, but were still subject to other people. Um, would Robb have taken Renly's offer? Um, it's it's possible that he would have taken Renly's offer. Remember, Robb didn't declare himself king. It was the lords that declared him king, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, but see, here's the thing, though. Again, Robb was saying like, Stannis should be king because he is Renly's older brother, or elder brother, whatever. Um, so I don't know if he would have found it to be honorable because remember he also was his father's son. So hmm, that's an interesting thing to think about just in terms of was he like how would he have felt about it? So that's a really good question. Um yeah, that is a really good question. Um all right. One more question from Rick, and then you have to calm it down, Rick. Other people need to start asking questions, or it's going to be next question for Ricky Hunt, next question for Ricky Hunt, next question for Ricky Hunt. Come on, people. I know you got stuff on your mind. All right, but no. Next question for Ricky Hunt: is there some symbolism about hands in the book? Hand of the King, Jamie loses hand, John burns his hand, and Danny burns hers. Any correlation or coincidence? I mean, well, you got to think. One of the things that connect us to the world around is our sense of touch, and the thing we use most to help develop our sense of touch is our hands. So for Jamie to lose his hand, obviously, especially the hand that he felt uh helped define him, because that was the hand that he fought with. Obviously, devastating thing, because now he doesn't know. Is John doing a heroic thing of burning his hand at the same time? But how it's a thing of, yes, he did a heroic act, but how will that affect him going forward? Will it be a something that's an impediment to him? Danny, oh, how did what? How did Danny burn her hands again? Because I'm lost in that one. But Hand of the King, and then again with the whole Hand of the King thing, I think that's more of uh someone to watch your back, someone to like you say, your right hand. You know, um, for most people, their right hand is their dominant hand. So it's like, if I'm calling somebody my right hand, it's the symbolic of somebody who makes me stronger, or someone who is an extension of me. It's just like whatever they're doing is just as valid. Let's see here. All right, so Anthony Vasquez says, think it was Radio Westeros provides the theory that Renly, Littlefinger, and the Tyrells were planning to usurp the throne. Robert, have you heard about that? If so, do you? It's funny. I've listened to a lot of Radio Westeros. I don't remember that particular theory, even though it could be true. That is a theory of theirs. Um, huh. You know what? I have to do some more digging into that. But Renly, Littlefinger, Tyrell. I don't think now, because they wouldn't need to usurp the throne from Robert, because remember, Robert didn't really like being, not in the sense of, I sit on the throne, I make decisions, I gotta go over paperwork, and like, Robert didn't like the administrator. So it's like, look, I want somebody else to do all this stuff. I want to go have fun. So Robert didn't, like, you wouldn't need to usurp the throne from Robert, because Robert was just, you know, yeah, his word was law, but it was like he delegated everything to everyone else. So it's like, all right, now we already run the realm. We run it already. So they wouldn't need to take the throne from Robert, because they already had all the power. So yeah, I'm gonna have to on that one. Okay, let's see. Kat asks, "What do you think could have happened? You would have died." Uh, yeah, his brother would have. His brother's army would have wound up killing him. All right, Marilyn Bentley says, "Okay, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus here, but I gotta be real to my feelings. Anyone else not really care for Rob Stark, book or show. I just really don't love him in the way. I'll be honest with you, like going back and seeing things that Rob Stark had done. Yeah, not a Rob Stark fan. Not a Rob Stark at all. He was a fool, and he died for it. And I'm not saying like good riddance, but good riddance. Hold on, got to do the Kanye. All right, next up from Leslie Powell. Do you think Marjorie would have been the true ruling power on the throne had Renly king? She was extremely ambitious, hungry for. Um, a little, obviously she would have done some manipulating. Um, but the thing about it is, it's like once you're already there, unless there is something impeding your power, there's no reason to really go and flex. All right, I'm here. I have the throne or whatever, or I'm married to the person who has the throne. Unless they are doing something to try to fresh, fresh your, there's no, yeah, like I don't know, because it's the thing of like, would anybody be trying to take the throne? Because that's the thing where you really need to do all the back channel if someone else is trying to take the throne. I mean, it's possible she could have done the ruling, but it's not a huge thing. If you get my mean. All right, another one from Marilyn Bentley. What are your thoughts on theories about Jaqen being alive in the books? Do you think he's at the city? Yeah, most definitely. And I think that he's going to be killed by. I think he's going to be killed by Sam. I think that he is going to be killed by Sam. Sam is going to be the dude that winds up killing like legendary stuff by accident. He killed the White Walker with Dragon Glass by accident. He's going to wind up killing a faceless man. Like on purpose, but not knowing that that's the way that you can actually kill somebody. Like he didn't know specifically, okay, I got the Dragon Glass and Dragon Glass will work. He's like, oh, this is all I got. Let me try this. So I think the same thing is going to happen with Jaqen Hagar, where he's going to wind up killing him in a way that's specific to the faceless man, and he's going to wind up stumbling upon it. And all right, next up from Way Off Topic Radio, will Bron ever get his castle? No. All right, Ricky Hunt says Danny burned her hands and danced when she rode off with Troll. Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, yeah, she does have blisters. Yeah, like honestly speaking, I'm not even sure like what the significance of her being burned is because I mean, not that Targaryens are supposed to be fireproof, but George did say they are a little. The fact that she was blistering up is kind of. All right, from Big Kev, will we see Dario again? And if so, if you're talking about the show, I think it's a wrap for Dario show. In the books, he is still around and currently captive just outside of Marine. Um, I don't know if he is going to be one of Danny's trails, but I think he does have a role to play in the books. But as far as the show is concerned, done for. He's out of here. All right, from Marilyn Bentley, do you think Jane Westerling is pregnant in the book? And if so, thoughts on what that might mean for the Northern Line of um. I mean, well, let's see. I believe George said that she is going to appear in the prologue for Winter. Uh, mm, mm, oh man, I don't know. You know what? That is that is a good question as to whether I mean, like, cause all right, I'll be honest with you. I think she's pregnant. I think she's gonna wind up getting killed. Yeah, because I mean I don't. If there is a line of Starks, I don't think that Rob's a line can honestly. I think she's dead. Jane Westerling. Ricky, that's a little harsh, man. I don't think you have to call people. Look, there are a lot of people, who only watch the show, and the show has given them false impression of things how they play out. So listen, be easy for the people who are show first. Right? Easy there. All right, Big Cab asks, do you think John will keep his first and last name after finding out who he really is? Mm, well, what's the funny thing? One thing that I would love to know is, did Danny know in the show that her brother had a son named Aegon already? Um so yeah, that's I don't know. That's a crazy thing as to whether or not he's gonna. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know if you can go around the name something, and then all of a sudden someone tells you that your name is something. Oh well, yeah. I'm just gonna yeah, I'm gonna change up my name now. Like I wouldn't look, man. If somebody would have come to me and tell me that my name is not actually Donald, now being the age that I am, and started calling me Jeffrey, I'm like, nah. You know what? I'll stick with Donald. It's fine. It'd be way too weird, to all of a sudden start going by another name. All right, Marilyn Bentley, do you think the Warlocks will come back in the books, and if so, will they seek revenge against Harris for taking down the House of the? Well, look, if you are not caught up with the Winds of Winter spoiler chapters, uh, the Warlocks do make an appearance in Aaron Dampierre chapter. Um, if you are not caught up, I will not spoil what happens with the Warlocks in that chapter. But if you are caught up on that chapter, um, then yeah, like I think you already know what's up with the um. All right, so Ricky's asking, do I prefer Donald to Don? I mean, either one. It's one that I did not was one variation that I did not like growing up, Donnie, and for two reasons. One, uh, Donnie Wahlberg. Is it Donnie Wahlberg from uh what do you call it, from the New Kids on the Block? I couldn't stand New Kids on the Block when I was a kid. So that was one. I didn't want anybody calling me Donnie because of that. And two, there was this lady, like when I used to live in the Bronx. Damn, this is nearly 30 years ago. Holy shit, I'm old now. Um, she used to sound like Edith Bunker. And I don't know if you guys know who Edith Bunker is. Uh, but she has this very kind of nasally, uh, high pitched kind of voice. And every time I would see her, like, and I would only see her, like, me and my mom would go do laundry. Um, she would always call me Donnie, and it just like that kind of ears on a chalkboard kind of voice. Hi, Donnie. I just remember being a kid and was like, imagine that, like, and the earliest I can remember her calling me that was maybe like 4 or 5. And so this is still pre New Kids on the Block, and I just remember maybe it was because of her voice, but I just remember saying my name is Donald. Like, okay, can you please stop calling me Donnie? My name is, and I mean, like, for years, and nobody else ever called me Donnie. She was the only one that would ever call me that, and I was just like, okay, I forgot what her name was, but I was really just, my name is Donald. Every time I see her, my name is Donald. Name was Donald. And then I remember, like, it must have been like it must have been like right before we moved, and maybe it was like one of the last times I ever saw her, like when I was 10 or 11. He finally like called me Donald. And I was expecting, I was anticipating, like, all right, in the past, 5 or 6 years, Donnie, hi Donnie, and it was like, hello Donald, and I was thinking to myself, like, wow, okay. I mean, she was kind of like really serious, less jovial than normal when she said it too. So I don't know if she kind of hurt by the fact that I didn't call me Donnie or something like that. But yeah, I just remember I was like, I was kind of taken aback, and unfortunately, I do not remember her name. But again, eh, man, I'm old. This was nearly 30 years ago. Pretty sure people was like, "Yo, how do you remember something like that from like 30 something?" It's not 30 something years ago, but yeah, nearly 30 years. Holy cow! Oh man, listen, do yourself a favor, people. Don't get old. Oh man, Marilyn, you don't have to apologize for the question. It's a question. There's no such you know, no such thing as a stupid question, or even offensive. It's fine. Um. No, I was not hanging tough, and I did not have the right stuff. And it's funny because just thinking about that, I got that stupid hook, like looping over my head. Oh, oh God, I hate. Yo, listen, I hated a lot of that boy band bubblegum pop shit when I did, man. I was never really into it. New Edition was cool. Michael Jackson was cool. Uh, and that was probably about where it's. I didn't like Millie Vanilli. Hated Millie Vanilli even before they got exposed. Hated Millie Vanilli. Um, uh, New Kids on the Block wasn't digging that. What was the other the Tiffany? I don't even remember any of her songs. I just remember like, oh, she hangs out with New Kids on the Block. I can't. So, and I didn't like any of the boy bands from the '90s either. So Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees, all those people that Eminem used to diss before he decided to start making music like them. Uh um all right, let's see here. Leslie Power wants to know what is the graphic. Oh, so the graphic on my t-shirt actually with Vader. The only true Star Wars. Let's see here. Marilyn Bentley asks, "What are your thoughts on Rickon's fate in the book? Do you think, let's see, think or even care if he dies? Uh, show fate is sample chapter. No, his fate has not been in the sample chapter. Um, uh, but Marilyn, did you not see season 6? Yeah, did you not see season 6? Like I said, I don't know what his fate is going to be in the books, and I hope it's not the whole Shaggy Dog theory where it winds up Rickon just does absolutely nothing. If you have not seen season 6 of Game of Thrones, I do not want to spoil that for you as far as the fate of Rickon Stark. Ricky, who did not love the Thong Song by Cisco, or at least the video? What's funny? I remember years ago I actually saw Cisco here in New York right before Puerto Rican Day Parade, and man, the people that you see that is like, wow, like yeah, Cisco doesn't look like the tallest guy on TV anyway, but to see him in person and to feel like it, look, I'm not a super tall dude at all. I'm like 5'8" on a good day. Uh, and I was towering over Cisco. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Him and Jermaine Dupri. Him and Jermaine Dupri like are like 5'3". Jermaine Dupri is super short. Like, wow, super. All right, Marilyn Bentley. So I think we are done in Essos show. But if there was one place in Essos you would have liked to see, so uh, what would it be? Me, it's the Shadowland. Um, yeah, yeah. Definitely the Shadowlands of Ashai. You know what? I mean, it's funny because like there's a lot of stuff in the books, and especially like the world of Ice and Fire, that kind of gets fleshed out a bit. Stuff like like Andalos, Norvos, uh, you know, all of the different free cities. Um, Funny, Bravos to me, even though like they did a good enough job of aesthetically making it look different. Culturally, I wish they would have done more as far as the language is concerned, because in the books that is kind of a big thing. The fact that Bravos has its language culture. So I mean, they did a little bit to differentiate, and that's mainly because of the architecture, but not so much in terms of fashion, things like that. So I don't think that we really got to see Bravos in its entirety. But yeah. Um, where else would I like to? So other than the Shadowlands, or maybe ET. ET. We didn't see anyone from ET that was like specifically like, oh, this person is from ET. We don't really get a lot from. I would like. Let's see. Um, yeah. Listen. As far as Davos's mission, I mean, because I can't see George sending Davos to the Skagos to try to get Rick on, all for it to be for nothing. Um, because that would be a waste of Davos. Davos is one of the few characters that I think will survive to the end. So yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, there has to be something that I don't know. It has to be something something more for Rickon. There has to be something more. All right, next up for Ricky Hunt. Do you think the trees that the warlocks get shaded to eat are ironwoods like in the north? Um, hmm. No, I doubt it because it seems that whatever it is they have because I'm pretty sure by now if Shade of the Evening was something that you get from Ironwood, people in the North would have found out about it, and they probably would have called it something else, but they probably would have found out about its properties. Because I mean, that's what human beings do. Human beings go, they find something, they try to get all of the usefulness out of it that they possibly can. So if Shade of the Evening was made from Ironwood, people would have figured that out by now. But good question. All right, so Leslie Powell asks, "Do you think weirwood arrows will be used to kill any?" Um, man, I mean, well, let's see. Weirwood arrows do. I mean, even though they're not magical, do they do seem to have? They do seem to have, I guess, more sturdy properties, which could possibly allow them to penetrate dragon scales. Um, hmm, I, you know what? I can see that being possible, but then the question is which one? Because if you're going to kill all of the dragons, I don't think you kill all of the dragons with the same device. So I think it's very possible that you kill a dragon with a volley of weirwood arrows. Uh, Question is which, because that is very important. All right, so next up from Marilyn Bentley, do you think there are any remaining children of the forest alive? And if so, where are they? Isle of Faces? So, I mean, I guess you're talking about the show. Um, I'm going to say it's a wrap for them for the show. I think they are parted 110 trillion% in the show. Talking about in the books, it is very possible that it kind of hinted that there might be a hybrid uh, children of the forest and uh, species that live on the Isle of Faces. Possible, very possible for the books, not for the show. Paul McQuaid, what's going on, man? How you doing? Yeah, get my dragon vape on real quick. Glad to answer your question, Marilyn. All right, will we ever get a Kraken? In the books, there's mention about the Celtigar horn being used. Some of them, is that just a throw in or perhaps foreshadowing? Um, hmm. I mean, that would be awesome, right? So imagine, got Euron on the silence. You know, he's having he's having sea battle. You know, he taking heavy losses to what's this dude, Red Wine, to the Red Wine fleet, thinking, yeah, we're about to get him, we're about to overtake him, and the next thing you know, Euron blows the horn, and all you see is whoosh, bang. I'm making all kinds of like weird noises you probably couldn't even hear. There's supposed to be water splashing. But anyway, yeah, imagine that happening. That would be crazy, and I would love to. I hope it happens. I hope it happens. Paul, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. Not Ricky. This is not Dragon's Tears. This is something new I bought about a week or two ago. Um, yeah, what the hell it is. Funny thing is, I don't even think they make Dragon's Tears anymore. Place where I used to get it from went out of business. I still have no idea what the hell. Like I see Ricky and Marilyn talking about Grumpkins and Snarks. I still have no idea what the hell a Grumpkin or a Snark. Yeah, Marilyn, I can't front. The whole scene with Viserion dying, very sad, very tragic, impactful, and obviously, even though dragons are not creatures, um, that was a very horrific looking death. Uh, the only thing about that scene that really took me out of it was the emotionless look on Amelia Clark's. Um, I personally would have had Daenerys reacting more if I were directing the show. Uh, I personally would have been like, nah, I'm gonna need, like, look, this is, you consider this to be one of your children, and you've literally just seen it uh blown out of the sky. I think you blankly staring like, not enough, not believable as a reaction a mother supposedly child. Let's see. Ricky says he's waiting for the Squishers to show up. I don't think the Squishers are actually going to show up. I think listen, you know what? I want to know more about the damn oily Blackstone. Everything, you got all these monuments built to oily Blackstone. But unfortunately, I think that that's one of those things like how you have ancient monuments in our world that no one knows where they came from. It's a thing here. Might be a language. No one can decipher the language that is written. There's no way to translate or anything. It's like we got this thing here. We have no idea where the hell it came from. Like the statues on Easter Island, or the Olmec heads in like Mexico and Central and South America. Just like we have no idea where the hell these big monuments came from. We don't know who built them. All we know is they're here, and yeah. I think that you know, so like with the Squishers, all of the stuff made out of the oily Blackstone, we are not going to get anything about that. It's just going to be one of those kind of lost to history things. And Ricky asks, when does Amelia Amelia Clark not have an emotional? Oh man, yeah, I know you're not a fan of Amelia Clark. Oh my god. Yeah, Marilyn, I will agree with you. You know, yeah, it did look like a damn cartoon with the Night King on top of Viserion. And then especially at the end, the way that they had him flying. I'm like, how is it he seems like he's 10 times faster than he was. He was like flying all around the screen. Like, "Rah, rah." He was bouncing all around the screen. I'm like, oh god. Why did they do? Why? Like no, get like he seemed like he had no weight to him then. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Oh man. Oh, it is 10 o'clock? Holy cow. Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to end this. Uh I do have very important business that I need to attend to. Um Man, this has been super fun. It doesn't even feel like it's been that long. But yeah, listen, I want to give a shout out to everyone who joined me tonight live. Friday isn't the normal day, but for the next few weeks, I actually will be doing these on Fridays, uh, due to change work schedule and a couple other things that I got going. So Friday will be the day that I will be live for the uh, month and a half, somewhere around there. So pretty much the entire month of February, I will be on Fridays instead of Thursdays. Unfortunately, things change sometimes, and you got to change. But who knows? Maybe I'll make Fridays a permanent thing. Hadn't planned on that, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, yeah, like I said, shout out to everybody who joined me live, and also shout out to all those who will watch the future. I'm not sure what character I will be doing next week, but of course, you know will be. Oh my god, Leslie, you Donnie. You didn't see what I said before? I said it was Darth Vader. It was Darth Vader. See? Darth Vader. The graphic on shirt. Oh man. Yeah, anyway. Look, make sure to follow me on the Twitter. See the name down there. Or you can at me on Twitter and also on Instagram. start posting this stuff back on Instagram again. I realized like I haven't posted a lot of these while. Flood my timeline with all of the stuff that I missed. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I'll be back next week, Friday, same bat time, same bat channel. You already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and come back for more. That has been my time, and this is Don, Willie, and Darth Vader saying Vala Dohiris. I will see you guys next.